Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Joseph Bradley. I'm going to share a message with Spirit today on the day of Halloween, where the veils, they say, are closer than any other time of the year. The veils get thinner, so it is easier to communicate to the spirit realm. The intention today is just to allow Spirit to share whatever it wants to share. A message for the world on this day. So we ask the spirit realm, what do you wish to share with everyone today? I'm standing on a mountaintop, and the spirits that surround me. I look to the left of me, and there's a spirit standing there, shaking, twisted form. I look in front of me, and there's a man standing there with a staff, very serious. I turn to the right of me, and there's a beautiful angelic figure standing there. I look behind me, and there's a spirit that fades between the light and the dark, very quickly, chaotically, so to speak. And I look to the southwest. There's a dark spirit with red eyes staring intently at me. I can feel the energy flow from his body. The darkness continues to flow, the deepest, blackest darkness I could see, emitting from his body on a regular basis. I look in between to the northwest, and I see a figure with his arms out, hands facing upwards, and there's beautiful lights flowing from his hands and through his body. It flows in and out of him, but the most beautiful lights I've ever seen. No ill will, just happiness and love. I look to the northeast, and I see a white figure standing there with his hands out the same way, giving off beautiful white loving energy. It's like rainbow colors coming from his hands and around his body. I look to the southeast. There is a man standing there, giving off white light. It is very intense white light. A type of white light that burns. It's not gentle at all. It's very harsh. I look around, and there's even more figures that fill in between each space. I rise upward. They're standing there, looking up as I rise upward. And there's an infinite number of spirits that go off in every direction. I fall back down to the ground as I land smack in the middle of them with my back. Hits the ground hard. Not one comes forward to help me. I stand back to my feet and I look at them once again. What spirit am I drawn to? What spirit are you drawn to? They represent all parts from the most evil to the most good. What parts are you drawn to? I walk over to the most evil one and I look it right in the eyes. It stares deep within my soul, but cannot penetrate it. Can only go so far. I put my hand out and it cowers a little bit from me. But it does put its hand on mine. Only for a second. But that's all it needed to do. I put my hand in front and touch every single one of them. I break myself off in all enough pieces. 6 to 14 different pieces. 6, and then 6, and then 2. I look at each one of them, one at a time. One is full of disgusting disease and twisted forms. So I touch all of them, and then I stand in the center. I ask God, what does He wish to do with all these spirits? A gate opens up, and heavenly light shines down upon me. And then shoots out towards all my parts of myself. In every one of them, I put my hands out in front with my palms up, like this. And each one of the spirits touches my hands. I am glowing a beautiful golden light. And that golden light goes into every single one of the spirits. Then they start to spin, and I start to spin. So it creates 2 circles. And then I start to spin in the center, which is a 3rd circle. And then all the spirits, the infinite number of spirits, start to spin. We spin really quickly, faster and faster. The question is, will you allow every part of yourself to go within you? What parts will you give up? What parts will you face? What parts will you allow to go away, to fade away, to die, to never be born, to never exist? Or will you allow every single one of the pieces to go inside of you so you stop? You see vortexes spinning around you. Which one would you pick? At this point in time, you don't even know. If you reach out and touch a part of yourself, you'll be gone forever. Would you reach out knowing, not knowing, what piece you're going to destroy or let go of? It will be a gamble. You could set the dark side of yourself the darkest side of yourself or the lightest side of yourself away? Would you take that risk? Or would you wait? I clap my hands and everything stops. And you see all the parts of yourself, the darkest to the lightest, everything in between. Which one you picked to get rid of? Most people will take the darkest side of themselves. Would you give that away? Would you destroy it? Before you say anything, I want you to rise above it. I want you to see how many lifetimes you lived, how many lifetimes you suffered underneath, behind that spirit, and ask yourself, would you give up all those lifetimes because of fear, or would you stand up to the darkest side of yourself and say, I am honored that all these lifetimes I have learned very difficult lessons so that I may understand everything about me, about light, about darkness, about love, about hate. Would I give all that up and lose a part of myself permanently just because I am afraid of the dark side of who I am? Or will I stand up and say, thank you for all these lifetimes. I am in control of you as I am in control of all of you, light to dark. Because if I am not, you must look into your own eyes and ask yourself, why are you not in control of who you are? Would you give up something you're afraid of? Or should you stand up and face it and overcome it, bring it back into the light to balance it? Or would it be easier just to let it go? But can you actually let it go? If you had that choice, a lot of people would say, sure, I'll just let it go. But is that even possible? But to say that it was, and you walk over and you say that part of your spirit and every lifetime that was attached to it, I said, I let you go, what would happen? And you delete that part of yourself, and you delete the other parts of the dark side of yourself. And now you're just with just the light. What would happen to you in a world like today if you only had light in your heart and no darkness? No lifetime memories, no experience of the horrors that existed. Would that make you a better person? If you only had experiences of light, could you live in a world like this today? Could you understand the suffering of the human race? Would you have the strength to walk in the dark? To stand up to what you believe in? All those lifetimes, including the ones that balance both, would disappear and fade away, you would be what would happen to you? It's an interesting question to ask yourself. Some people would say that they don't want the dark sides themselves to exist at all, just the light. So why did we go down this path of darkness? To learn. There is energies in this universe that have been around since the beginning of time. There is dark energy and there is light energy, but there's also all the energy that's in between. So you would give up one half of the universe, so you'd only have the light half. What would you do in a situation that made you have to deal with horrible events? Walking in dark places, how would you feel if you never had any other experience except of light? Would you understand the darkness? How could you? How could you understand any of it if you let it all go? How would you understand the depths of your soul if you let it all go? I always like to look at things. I was once given this choice. Would I give up the darkest, twisted versions of myself? Even if it was just for this lifetime. So I stood in front of a situation just like this, with 14 versions of my higher self. I stood in the middle and I looked at them, at all of them. I stood in front of the chaos versions of the darkness, and I seen that they weren't chaos at all, that I was able, through multiple millions of who knows how many lifetimes, to bring all that into balance. So the chaos was brought into balance because I choose to follow that parts of myself, to look into them parts of myself, to love those parts of myself, to conquer those parts of myself with love. And when you do that, you see the strength of those spirits, of those forms of your higher self, and all the endurance, and all the lifetimes of all the sacrifices that they had given up so they could teach me the understanding of love at levels that most people will not know unless they go into those aspects of who they are. So no, I did not give that piece of myself up, or those pieces. Instead, I put one knee in the ground and I asked for forgiveness for even suggesting to take that part of myself away. I showed respect How could I not? For all what they have sacrificed willingly so I could become what I am today. So instead of being afraid of the dark parts of who you are, you need to stand up, love them, respect them, and bring them into balance so they are not chaos. They are chaos that is in balance. Just like the brightest part of yourself, which the light burns. When you bring all those pieces together to create a perfect harmony of light and dark, can you look into yourself and say that I am in balance with who I am? I am in balance. My higher self is perfectly balanced. I am balanced. There's going to be times where you fall out of balance, just for a short time or a long time, depending on how and what your actions are. But if you always run in fear of yourself, you'll never find out who you truly are and what you're capable of becoming. It's easy to walk into the light, but it's much more difficult to walk into the darkness with your shoulders held back and your head held high. We're taught to be afraid of darkness. Instead, we should embrace it and love it, just like the bright sides of ourselves, because that's when we truly understand what love is. That's when we truly understand what true love is. God does not look down upon the world and only love the light side of herself. He loves the dark sides of ourselves as well. He loves everything about us because he sees the sacrifices and understands what the dark sides give up in order to give us learning. But it's up to us to bring everything into balance. And when we do, heaven rejoices in it. Because you're finally understanding the true meaning of what love is. To love every parts of everyone and everything. Because when you do that, the chaos diminishes and you become the controller of all you are. Not the chaos running free, causing havoc, but a chaos that gives you strength. It gives you the understanding and the compassion to love everyone and everything. Thank you very much, and that's my Halloween message. And you can visit my website at www.josephbradley.com or www.amonrasawakening.com. I'm a journey healer, speaker, and teacher, and I am proud to work with any of you so you can finally find the true love within yourself, to bring yourself back into balance, to get you to finally see what love is. You finally see that you are the master you were looking for. You are the one true master teacher of yourself. Thank you very much, and have a great day.